Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the Endangered Species Act of 1973. I hope you all enjoy this, and let's jump right in. So what is the Endangered Species Act? The Endangered Species Act sets certain regulations and allows specific federal actions in order to preserve species. I'd like to focus on the history and constitutional basis of the Endangered Species Act of 1973, because wildlife legislation in the United States has taken many different paths before it has become what it is today. There were very few conservation laws in the early history of the United States, and the regulation of wildlife was generally to protect fishermen and hunters rather than caring about the longevity and sustainability of flora and fauna. United States species conservation first began when President Theodore Roosevelt established one of the first national wildlife refuges, which indirectly protected endangered species by protecting their habitat from habitat degradation. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act between the United States and Great Britain marked an international shift towards species conservation that included more substantial federal regulation. The environmental movement of the 60s and 70s was the biggest push for the passage of the Endangered Species Act. People were becoming increasingly concerned with the earth, and this led to conservation legislation. A driving factor for the environmental movement was the air pollution and water pollution present in America. Like, lakes were literally on fire from the oil in them. Flaming lakes. The Endangered Species Act was signed into law by President Richard Nixon in 1973. The law went through Congress relatively quickly, about 6 months. The Endangered Species Act was one of many environmental laws that were passed in the early 70s. Congress used the Commerce Clause to justify the passage of the Endangered Species Act. The amount of species in an area can range across states. This justification has been challenged for animals with a range entirely within a state, but the constitutionality of the Endangered Species Act was upheld.